The City of Johannesburg's road infrastructure seems to be in a serious state of disrepair, with an increase in potholes, malfunctioning traffic lights and an overall lack of maintenance. The Johannesburg Roads Agency, which falls under the City of Joburg, is where the buck stops. We put some of the city's top officials in the hot seat. The City of Johannesburg's road infrastructure appears to be crumbling, with the organization's performance record at an all-time low. 6 months ago, before the rains, the city's State of Roads Infrastructure report stated that just 45% of the city's roads were considered to be in a very good condition. And the city's road users are not impressed.
Driving in Gauteng is a nightmare these days. The roads are deteriorating.
We've got the potholes, most of the traffic lights are not working. Some are taking a week before they get fixed.
They're absolutely shocking and they've gotten worse.
The DA took the City of Joburg administration from the ANC in the 2016 municipal elections, retaining power through coalition partnerships with smaller political parties. Herman Mashaba is the mayor.
As you expect the new administration to turn the city around overnight, please, I think we're not going to be magicians. This process is going to take some time.
But Mayor Mashaba, in the time you've been in office, it's gotten worse. Political analyst Ralph Mateja attributes service delivery issues to coalition agreements in government.
I call it a pay-as-you-go arrangement. Every time you want to make a decision in council or in any government that is made out of coalition, you have to buy airtime.
The Johannesburg Roads Agency falls under the city's transport department, which has been assigned to the Inkatha Freedom Party, one of the DA's coalition partners. Insiders at the JRA say the organization has been bleeding top management since the new board took office, with 6 of the 10 executives leaving the organization in the last year. Amabungane journalist Micah Reddy picked up on the story in late 2017. He says some of the exiting high-level staff felt that there was politics at play within the JRA.
They were saying that at the heart of this was a new IFP-aligned board that came in, of course, after the local government elections. And they were saying that this board was overbearing, that the chairperson was trying to involve himself in tenders. They were insisting on keeping on, for instance, a non-performing contractor against the wishes of the managing director who wanted this contractor gone.
The Joburg M1 double-decker bridge project kicked off in 2015. This was set for a 91 million rand upgrade, and the contract was awarded to White Hazy Construction, a Mpumalanga-based company. Over 2 years into the project, the deadline was missed, and only 17% of the project was completed.
The contractor that had been working on that project was massively underperforming, precisely because the board would not have this cancellation of the non-performing contractor earlier on, precisely because the CFO clearly moved against it, and this is something that's clear in the minutes.
And it seems that the power struggles within the JRA were becoming more intense by the day. The company secretary and ethics officer, Karen Mills, was the first executive casualty at the JRA. She was suspended for making a protected disclosure. She was removed from office for blowing the whistle on what she believed was questionable governance. The board became aware of the protected disclosure and claimed that Karen didn't follow procedure. Karen now lives in the UK and spoke to us via Skype.
I had failed to comply with a board directive that I not speak to the shareholder, which is the City of Johannesburg, or to the independent audit committee members, or to anybody else.
Short of reporting it to herself as the ethics and compliance officer, Karen says she took all the steps that were available to her. Reddy believes Karen Mills was the most worrying departure from the JRA.
The protected disclosure was sent to Sabia's office. Sabia, of course, is the mayor's anti-corruption czar. But it appears that her disclosure was intercepted and used as the basis to discipline her and ultimately push her out of the company.
With no formal disciplinary hearing, Karen was eventually paid a sizable settlement amount to resign and just leave.
The irony was that I was put through 7 months of hell before I was given the boot for doing my job. And again, I didn't accuse anybody of anything. I raised my concerns.
Next in the firing line was the then MD, Dr. Sean Phillips, who had a somewhat strained relationship with the JRA board chairman, Sipho Shabalala.
The problem started because the chairperson of the board, soon after they were appointed, came to my office and sat with me and talked to me about the governance of the agency and the role of the board. And one issue that he stressed is that he wanted to be involved in the award of tenders.
So what was your reaction when the chairman asked you that?
I was shocked. And I told him that he's not allowed to be involved in the award of tenders. It's illegal in terms of the Municipal Financial Management Act. After I told him that, he then indicated to me that I should then involve him informally.
We put Dr. Phillips's allegations to the JRA chairman.
What's your response?
That's not true.
You think Sean Phillips is lying?
Yes.
Why is he lying?
I don't know. I'm not Sean Phillips.
With a doctorate in civil engineering which focused on roads and 2 master's degrees, Dr. Phillips was concerned about corporate governance related to tender allocations and the Karen Mills case. He formally raised it with Mayor Mashaba. The mayor then facilitated a meeting between Dr. Phillips and the chairman, Mr. Shabalala, who said it was all a misunderstanding and apologized for any confusion. Mayor Mashaba was adamant that he can't and won't take any other action without concrete evidence of wrongdoing.
Why would Sean Phillips, who was the MD at the time, stick his neck out and come to you and say, we've got a problem?
I don't really work on the basis of just really trusting people because they are MDs. I trust people on the basis of the evidence.
You can't wait for corruption to occur before acting against it. I think it was my duty as the accounting officer to raise my concerns about governance problems which could potentially lead to corruption.
Political analyst Ralph Mateja is not surprised by how it played out.
When you are engaged in coalitions, you are walking on eggshells, particularly when you share nothing concrete with the people you are involved in a coalition with. The only thing that Mr. Mashaba can do is to look the other way.
The problematic M1 contract was eventually cancelled. Enter a new company, Carte Civils. This time at a price tag of 144.5 million rands, excluding VAT.
Even if we take into consideration that there was probably more deterioration, there could have been price increases and even possible original miscalculations, but for the contract value to double, something doesn't sound right.
They don't go out to tender. Instead, they bring in this Carte Civils, this new company, on an emergency tender. And they give this company an upfront payment.
Yes, you heard right. An upfront payment of 22 million rands was made to Carte Civils in December 2017, while the project documentation was only finalized in February 2018. Money was paid before work was done. We shared our discovery with Mayor Mashaba.
Is prepayment normal?
It cannot be normal.
It's not normal.
No, it's not normal.
Let me show you. Take your time with this. So you got Carte Civils.
Carte, yes.
Right.
This is paid that's 5 million rands.
Five,
about 20 million rands.
They said it was an emergency.
But it's not. How can it be? Yes, if it's an emergency, now you're getting rid of one construction company that was underperforming. You get another one, and you pay him in advance, and you say it's an emergency. That's nonsense. It can't be.
But it is. Despite the JRA officially responding extensively to Amabungane's questions, responses which we've seen when we sat down with the acting MD, Goodwill Mbata, it was lights, camera, and no comment. The acting MD had no comment 27 times.
Again, I can't comment about that now.
Okay. Apparently, the Special Investigations Unit has told the JRA not to comment pending an investigation which started months ago.
How is it that you were able to comment extensively to Amabungane about this project, but you can't talk to us?
I was only advised today at about 10 o'clock that I shouldn't comment on the matter.
It's a bit coincidental, isn't it?
It's coincidental, but the meetings were set up quite a while ago.
Why did you pay Carte Civils a 22 million rand prepayment? It has been admitted to by the JRA already. So my question is, not if, it's why.
Yeah, I would comment on that because there are reasons why actions are taken, but because of the restriction, I'm unable to comment any further on that matter.
You admitted to Amabungane that it was a prepayment. It's a prepayment. You guys have not been shy about it. You're trying to close the door, the horse is gone. That's what's happening here.
Reddy explains that any advance payments for private contractors are highly irregular.
We've spoken as well to governance experts and people in municipal and public entities who say that prepayments are avoided like the plague.
How many prepayments were authorized in your time at the JRA?
None.
Are prepayments common in municipal organizations like the JRA?
No, not in the JRA. They're not common at all. It's very rare for them to be given a prepayment up front for doing construction work. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, it's unheard of.
It seems the JRA is trying to manipulate procedures to get around legislation.
The law says it's not allowed. Governance experts say it's not allowed. Treasury standards says it's not allowed. The mayor says it's not allowed. Is everyone mad?
What is not allowed is to make a payment for services that have not been rendered and as if those services have been rendered. But by agreement, if you've agreed on a payment plan that then gets applied...
Why did they need a payment plan? They're a big company.
We needed a payment plan for a project, but I can't comment on the detail and more detail on that.
However, Carte Civils did respond, saying it did not receive an advance payment. We were paid part of the contract's preliminary and generals. They go on to say it is not for Carte Civils to comment on the procurement and payment processes in JRA. We are merely a contractor who was awarded a tender and are carrying out our contractual obligations. Political analyst Mateja points out that there are more opportunities for corruption in the local government context, simply because of the magnitude of transactions.
Most of the money, the fiscus, is actually spent at local government. Those cities are going to be strategic areas for exchange of patronage as these coalitions are being maintained.
While political party funding is not transparent, it is impossible then to say where the money went, if it went anywhere. But what is glaringly clear is that a board of a municipal entity should not be getting involved with the day-to-day operations of the organization.
As Pravin Gordhan said, when you add it up and you get the red flags, you need to do something. And I think this, for me, was it.
I think it dispels this myth that, the ANC is the party of corruption. Here we have a very messy coalition that, in a sense, may be fueling corruption at the city's entities.